moment, if you will. What the universe must have been like before the source of all thought to have a more tangible, concrete, material idea of itself. Imagine how cold and empty it must have been, darkness. And then in Genesis, the Bible states that this formless substance was empty and without light. And then imagine the source of all thought to itself, I want to experience a fuller, more expansive way of being of myself. So I think for starters, I will create light. Most likely you know the words in Genesis when God said, "Let there be light." Yes, a few of us read the Bible. But the creation story doesn't really stop there. Because what happened when God said those words, it just tells us, and then there was light. At this point, something took place in between for that nanosecond. Let there be light, and then there was light, creation, right? At this point, I kind of envisioned my own story of the Big Bang theory, just my own little thing in there. After God said, "Let there be light," there was this deep rumbling and the building up of energy for the lights. This is in that nanosecond. And coming from the ethers, I imagined that the air was alive with electricity. Suddenly, a burst of light came about. And the universe was forever changed. It was never the same, can never go back. It was forever changed. And the new future was established in that moment. And why am I saying these things right here and right now? Because I believe that the source of all is ready for another explosion. Another explosion. A more fuller, expansive version of itself. And I believe that the infinite presence is ready and eager to burst forth into a new future. One that has never been experienced before. That we're all on this planet at this particular time to experience. And I believe that there is a deep rumbling and a building up of energy in this explosive expansion that I'm speaking of. This is just about ready to happen. We can all feel the shifts that are taking place. But in this time, it's just a little bit different than let there be light. Because this time, the thing that wants to burst forth is through something that has already been created. Something that already exists. And that something, my friends, is us. So, through us, this expansion, this explosion is to take place. And I feel this happening all around me. In fact, I feel it happening not only all around me, but in me and through me. I can feel the shift, the change that's taking place. And it continues. It's expansive, so it's continually evolving itself. It's very exciting. Does anyone else feel this energy shifting? Yeah, we feel it. Just you? That's it? Oh, a couple of others? Good, okay. Well, the rest of you, that's okay, because by the end of October, you will have felt it. Because I'm guaranteeing, if you come to every Sunday, you will deepen into it. We are ready to take the next step on this spiral of our evolutionary process. You do realize, as I've said before, that everything is a spiral. Our DNA, everything spirals. So now we're getting ready for that energetic spiral shift. That is going to be taking place through us, God expressing in and through us. And I know our workshop in November, Veronica Parker is doing it, and it's going to be dealing with expanded consciousness end the year 2012. Because there's a lot of energy around that number. So that should be a really cool workshop. I can't wait to take that one. But it's all in the same flow. We're talking about expanded energy that is now ready to burst forth. And it is in the process of doing so. And I'm really excited about this month, if you can't tell. I am really excited about this month because I have to give credit to a lot of the inspiration that I received, and it's from Mary Morrissey. And we are in the process right now of the Prosperity Plus class, which is phenomenal. It is so exciting about creating a way of being, a new way of living. And it just started this week, so there's 2 more spots that are open, I think. I hope so. Maybe 2 more CD sets. You get a CD set with this. So you're reminded constantly throughout the week of how to co-create your life to match this incredible shift that is taking place. It's amazing stuff. And I was so inspired by Mary's words of wisdom throughout this course that I pulled out from what I consider to be the highest of the highlights that we are focusing upon in the class. And for those of you who are not in the class, you'll have to, either if you're not one of those 2 people that signed up today, well, I'll offer it again in the probably spring. But I have to tell you that this is really deep and profound stuff and will perhaps cause you to make that shift, that you might have felt something taking place. This just might be because we are basing this on such great books and such great philosophies and truths. And so today we are going to start embarking on this grand experiment. We call the class an experiment because that's what it is for 10 weeks, to try something different, to experiment. So this whole month we're going to be talking about that grand experiment. And the experiment is to expand ourselves into a fuller, freer way of being, of showing up, of feeling, of expressing in the world. And so today we're going to look at 3 key ingredients that are needed to conduct this experiment. And so as a framework for these 3 key ingredients, I want us to look at a profound piece of writing that came out of Henry David Thoreau's book entitled Walden. And it was about his experience of living 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days by this pond, Walden Pond, and he built a cabin. And Mary Morrissey talks about it because it's part of her whole program. And we're going to go into that. That's going to be the basis for the whole month, is part of this Thoreau book. And this all happened in Concord, Maine. And we know a lot of all this New Thought stuff.
Massachusetts.
Oh, sorry. Massachusetts. M.A. In Concord, Massachusetts. And we know that a lot of the New Thought kind of philosophy and spirituality came out of New England. Ernest Holmes is out of New England. A lot of this, there was a major shift in the 1800s and early 1900s, and maybe before, in New England. So this is what he wrote. He concluded the book with these words, and they're so powerful. He writes, "I learned this, at least by my experiment, that if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live a life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. He will put some things behind and will pass an invisible boundary. New universal and more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around and within him, or the old laws will be expanded and interpreted in his favor in a more liberal sense, and he will live with the license of a higher order of being." So I want us to pull 3 ideas from this writing today. And so this will help us on this path of experiencing this great experiment in having a freer, fuller, more fulfilling, expansive experience in life. And I think that's all what we all want. I think we all want to do that. So the first idea from his writing is, if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams, which is a powerful line in and of itself, in order to advance confidently in the direction of your dreams, there is a really, really important thing that must be present. And what is that? What do you think must be present? To know what your dreams are, it helps. It helps the law give direction. So, we have all these pop quizzes today. You must know what you want to create. It helps the law to give it into your experience, to impress it back into your experience. Know what you want your life to look like. Really, we don't think about these things often, some of us, so others do. But if you are consciously thinking, what do I want my life to look like, then it will manifest a whole lot stronger. This is absolutely critical to know what you want. But I can tell you that many people are really not sure, and I remember when I wasn't sure. I knew what I wanted to feel. I knew what I wanted to feel, but I didn't know what it looked like. So I just took that feeling state and followed it and did the clearing work within myself and contemplated within myself until I got to a place where I kind of, yeah, this feels right, this feels right. And so then the universe has to provide to you what you truly desire, and the clearer and the stronger you are, the clearer and stronger your demonstration will be. Here's a really, really important spiritual, metaphysical teaching. There's really one. And pay attention to this. You can lean forward if you can't hear me, just to really soak this in. You ready? Mm-hmm. You cannot not create. Just like you cannot not breathe. Like your heart cannot not beat. You cannot not create. But you are either creating by design, consciously, or by default. The laws are in operation all of the time. You are continuously creating by design or by default. Your choice. If you don't know what you really want to experience, and if you're really not clear, you become stuck and stagnant. And then what do you think the universal laws give back to us? They give back what we think into it. You are impressing your thought onto this substance that gives back exactly what you are thinking, what you are feeling. This means you're either creating intentionally, calling forth that which wants to burst forth from you, the next turn in your spiral evolution, your dreams, you're creating through your thought, or you're allowing your old paradigm, the old ideas, the way that you've always been doing it to be functioning. By default, we create either consciously or we create through our subconscious, subconsciously. We're always creating. You cannot not create. That is absolutely the truth. But we do this through design, through our awareness. When we wake up and we're aware, we can create so much more powerfully what we want to experience. But very few of us actually do this. Most people just create from the experience, and that's by default, by the conditions, by the effects. And we all know the saying, if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting what you're getting. It's a cycle. It's the same. It won't change. You have to change. Look at the patterns in your life if you really want to know what you are thinking. If you have a pattern that you like, then keep that. But if there's a pattern that keeps showing up in your life that is not serving you, that doesn't feel good, it's letting you know that there's something in your thinking that you're repetitively thinking, and you are creating. You are creating. So if you want those inner urges, those nudges of the divine within you, say, I want to live my life fully, in awareness, freely, more expansively. Get to that place where you know that you are powerful creators of your lives. Then you will begin to create by design. By design. And you do that by having a picture, a vision of what it is you want to create. Have the vision. Have a picture of what it is you want in your life. Goethe, a German philosopher, once said, "The greatest art of all, the mischief in the world arises from the fact that men do not sufficiently understand their own aims. They have undertaken to build a tower and spent no more labor on that foundation than would be necessary to erect a hut." Get that? What are you putting into the foundation of your life? Do you want to manifest this mansion, this richer way of living, a fuller, joyful way of living, but your foundation can only hold a camper or a hut or a little bungalow? But you want this big, you know you want this big manifestation. But what are you doing? What are you building in that foundation? Because when you move to this next level of consciousness, know that it's 80% inner work that you're doing. It's 80% inner work and then 20% action. So it is always, if we are going to create by design, we have to do the work inside of us. Clarity. So what is your vision? What is your vision for an expanded life? What is your dream? You know we can dream. It's good to dream. We can dream. What do you dream of experiencing, of creating in your life? In 1976, a retired bodybuilder and an aspiring actor with a very thick Austrian accent and a monstrous build and a name that was rather difficult to pronounce, which I'll probably screw up anyway, was interviewed. He was being interviewed, and he was asked, what do you want to do next? Now that you're, won all of these titles and you're #1 in this field. And without skipping a beat, he said, I am going to be the #1 box office star in all of Hollywood. The interviewer tried not to laugh at this because this was an impossibility. With an accent like that, with a name like that, with a monstrous build like that, he knew there was little chance for success. But he went on to say, it is the same process I used in bodybuilding. Okay? What you do is create a vision of what you want to be, and then live into that picture as if it already exists. Already true. Without missing a beat. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live a life which he has imagined, because he imagined that life, he will meet with a success of unexpected in all of common hours. And you all know it. In the mid-1900s, Schwarzenegger achieved his vision. Achieved his vision. And it's kind of like what we say in some of the classes, fake it till you make it. No, live as if. Live as if it already was present. And you will. the law will respond, because the law doesn't know if it's present or not. It only responds to our thinking and our feelings come from our thinking. Remember when Jesus was faced with the condition of lack, and his disciples wanted to go into town to procure supplies. It is recorded that Jesus lifted his eyes up to heaven, which just means that his awareness was opened up, and touched the bread and the fish, and there was plenty. There was plenty. There was abundance. So we have an assignment for this week to get us going in this direction. And it is to contemplate what is the more expansive, freer, fuller expression of you in 4 areas: health, finance, relationship, and creative endeavors, which would be our work or career. Those are the 4. Okay, so 4 areas where you'd like to expand into a freer, more fulfilling state of being in health, finances, relationships, and in your career. What would you love to do?
Is it career or
Career, creative, yeah, how you would show up in the world. Creative. A creative expression. We call it work.